In 2003, the defending Super Bowl champion Buccaneers were a smart pick to repeat. By week 5, all was going as planned. The Bucs were 2-1, and going into the fourth quarter of their Monday night game, they were manhandling Peyton Manning and the Colts 28-7. But as America turned off their TV sets that night and went to bed, something remarkable happened. Manning engineered a comeback for the ages, a fantastic finish that would derail Tampa Bay's season.
Homecomings can be awkward, so imagine how Tony Dungy must have felt returning to Tampa in 2003. He spent the previous 6 seasons turning the Bucs into a contender. Now, a year after he was fired, Dungy was back as head coach of the Indianapolis Colts, facing his former team on Monday Night Football.
The spotlight was obviously on him leading into his return to Tampa, but his emphasis was that it was just another game, and after we go in there and win, don't act like we've never done it before, just act like it was another regular game, and he really downplayed the whole Dungy Bowl.
I hate to spoil Dungy's homecoming. Oh, yeah, for sure, without a question. I'm gonna try to spoil his birthday and his homecoming.
We were undefeated at the time, and I thought that should be the storyline. I knew we were going to need a great effort, so I really tried to concentrate on the Bucs and how we have to beat them and not worry about all the other stuff. We had a lot of incentive just to play well on that big stage, and the fact we were undefeated, we wanted to stay undefeated.
Adding to the intrigue was that after Dungy was fired, the Bucs won a Super Bowl. John Gruden's intensity was credited with taking Tampa Bay to the next level and making Raymond James Stadium a frightful place to visit.
It's an intimidating place to play. It's extremely loud, and couldn't repeat all the nice things that the fans were saying to me coming out of the tunnel. It was Monday Night Football, which is a game that you always want to play well in. It was a chance to play the defending Super Bowl champs, which makes it even a bigger game.
In a battle between 2 of the NFL's top defenses, the Bucs landed the first blow.
Johnson, a deep drop, dropping, looking, has protection, throws it downfield as far as he can. Open receiver, McCardell makes the catch at the 30, to the 20, to the 15, to the 5. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Brad Johnson to Keenan McCardell. It's 7-0 Bucs.
In the first quarter, the Bucs proved they were both explosive and opportunistic.
They had a one-play touchdown where we blew a coverage that made it 7. Then we intercept the ball. We've got it. Now I'm thinking, all right, we've got a chance to tie it up.
Intercepted by the Colts, Mike Doss. He's at the 50. He runs to the far side, gets away, lost the football. They're gonna score.
And before you can even stop thinking, McCardell's in the end zone. It's 14-0.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
No, it's early, but that might be the nuttiest play of the game.
You gotta be kidding me on that last touchdown. It goes like that sometimes, you know?
Though fortune had turned against them, the Colts would not surrender.
You guys got a good team, man. Really, y'all do.
No, don't stop saying that.
No, seriously, it's early. No, I know, but you got a good team. You do.
Indianapolis, nothing.
In the second quarter, the defending world champions poured it on.
Brad Johnson dropping, looking, firing to the left. Caught! Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Reggie Barlow.
Now it's 21-0, and it's just like, I can't believe this is happening. All of a sudden, all your fears are there. We don't want to get into a game where they can just tee off on us, and all of a sudden we were there.
21-0. It's over for me.
Tampa Bay's top-ranked defense dominated the Colts' offense. In the first half, Indianapolis gained only 86 yards and never crossed midfield. By halftime, it looked like an easy night's work for the Bucs.
So much for the great Peyton Manning. I mean, I know it ain't over, but...
At halftime, once again, Tony just kind of pointed out to the facts. He said, hey, Tampa's playing well. We'll give them that, but we are helping them a bunch.
Coach Dungy never panicked. You know, he just, like you said, told us, you know, we played poorly the first 30 minutes, but the good thing about it, we don't have to wait till next Sunday to play well. We got 30 more minutes today.
We were 21 down, but we were getting the ball to start the second half.
You have to try to get plays that are going to make longer yardage. You have to take some chances on getting the ball down deep, because when you're down 3 touchdowns and time becomes a factor, somewhere along the line you have to pick up big chunks of yards.
On their first series of the second half, the Colts finally found a crease in the Bucs defense.
He throws, touchdown Marvin!
3rd and 2, and ran a little kind of a pump and go to Marvin and scored quick, 21-7, and boom, hey, we're 2 scores out of it. They go down and answer with a long drive, and they hit McCardell in the corner. And then at 28-7, you're going, maybe it's just not going to happen.
And those cannons never sounded better.
And after 3 quarters, the Colts' prospects never looked bleaker.
Well, not a happy birthday for Tony Dungy so far. There's still a quarter to go, but boy, you've got to have a fantastic comeback now. The league is replete with any number of comebacks like this, but I don't think many of them were against the Tampa defense.
No, not in their house.
The Colts began the 4th quarter with a 75-yard touchdown drive. At the time, it seemed like nothing more than an attempt to salvage a measure of pride.
Left to go. Tampa leading 28-7. You can't waste too much time. Got to get it in the end zone. And the handoff is to Ricky Williams. Touchdown. And with 12:01 to go, it's Tampa Bay 28, the Colts 14.
The Bucs were unable to move against an energized Colts defense. But all that did was put the NFL's top-ranked defense back on the field.
Now it's sack time. The Bucs haven't recorded a sack in this game. String of 63 in a row is in jeopardy. Manning has been sacked just 3 times this year. Lines up in the gun from the 7-yard line. He stands around the 3. Max protection. Here's the snap. Here comes pressure. Upside. There it is. He's sacked at the 3, and the streak is alive. Spun around like a rag doll.
From their own 11-yard line and with time running out, the shaken Colts appeared beaten.
Dropping, beat Manning under pressure. Manning, he goes upfield. It is picked off and intercepted. Robbie Barber to the 20, to the 15. Barber to the 10. Barber, touchdown Tampa Bay. Robbie Barber.
Sack and the interception on the same series. This one was not going to go our way from the second series.
Y'all was going to get him eventually.
No, he should have gotten in the bus and headed home. 35-14, 4 minutes to go. This is when tons of, I can't tell you how many people told me after the fact how many TVs were turned off at that point.
Bucs are going to beat the Colts with 5:09 to go.
Anybody that tells you I knew we had them right where we wanted them is a lie.
5:09 to go. Colts will get it back. But now it doesn't matter much. High end over end kick headed toward the goal line. Pyatt goes back about 2 yards. He's going to run it out. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, breaks to the outside. He may go 50, 45, 40. He's being chased 35, 30, 25, 20. Horse collar it knocked down at the 13.
It was a big spark to give us a chance to finish the game. I don't think we were even really thinking about, hey, we're going to win this ball game at that point. But what it did, they had just gone up 21 points, and to have any chance, you got to score fast.
On 4th and 1 from the 3-yard line, James Mungro punched it in and pulled the score to 35-21.
3:37 to go. You know there'll be an onside kick here.
We still need 2 scores, so you got to onside kick it because we got to score twice.
Here they go, and he'll just try to pooch it high into the air. And the Colts have it. Agrees Bashir. Bashir went up to get it, and now the Colts have the ball at their own 42-yard line. The onside kick works, and the Colts still with a fighting chance here.
Once we got the onside kick, I kind of perked up, and everybody on the offense just said, now wait a minute here. It's 35-21. We go down and score here. We can make it real interesting here.
They got to go 58 yards and score here real quick.
And now you feel like just maybe, hey, we're there. If we can score quick again, we've got a shot.
Manning out of the shotgun. Takes the snap. Steps up. He throws. Caught by Ricky Williams at the 28-yard line.
But after inching to the Bucs' 28-yard line, the Colts nearly ran out of downs.
They stopped us a couple times. Got to a 4th and 6, which like I said, we don't get it, it's over.
It's 4th and 7. You got to go for it with 2:36 to go.
But I think we caught Tampa in a situation where they were kind of thinking, okay, let's don't let them get the first down.
But they're 1 of 1 on 4th downs, and it's 4th and 7. Manning out of the shotgun with 2:36 to go. Takes the snap. Drops, looks, sets, throws to Marvin, touchdown again!
It's probably one of the better throws I've made in a long time, and considering who it's against, it kind of makes it extra special. Here's Derek Brooks, who's, I think, the best linebacker in the game. Marvin takes it perfect angle right by Brooks, and that ball just goes right over Brooks's hand, right in Marvin in stride for the touchdown.
That's the record. Right. They now are the 4th most prolific scoring combination in NFL history. 64 touchdowns. Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison. And with 2:29 to go, it's Indianapolis trailing Tampa Bay 35-28.
You really were in disbelief as to what was going on. I mean, as it gets down to the crunch, you realize, you know what, that we could tie this game, and overtime certainly was a realistic possibility.
Because we only had one timeout, we tried the next onside kick. Mike made a great kick, bounced it to Derek Brooks, and he juggled it. And when that ball was on the ground, I'm thinking, hey, we're going to get it. And we did have it. And somehow we lost it in there, and they end up with the ball. So that was disappointing, because now, you know, you've kind of played that trump card and it didn't quite work.
But Tampa's got it at the Colt 45. Now all they have to do is kill the clock here.
That would be easier said than done. Indianapolis stopped 3 straight running plays. But after using their final timeout, they needed help to stop the clock.
Quick pitch to Stecker, trying to get outside. The Colts knock him down. Back at the 47, but they can't stop the clock.
And so now you're watching the clock. You're going, gosh, we can just get this clock stopped. So it's like 2:10, 2:09, 2:08, 2:07. You're watching. All of a sudden you hear a whistle, and you're like, you know, why is there a whistle? You see the yellow flag, and it's a personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct on one of their offensive linemen. We got the clock stopped at 2:04.
Tampa penalized 15 yards back to the 38-yard line of the Buccaneers for personal foul. It is 3rd down and 27.
Okay, on 3rd down, they run another play, 2-minute warning. So now it's 4th down, they got a punt.
The Colts were now battling the Bucs and history, because no team had ever overcome a 3-touchdown deficit in the final 4 minutes and won the game.
So the Colts have got 1 minute and 41 seconds, no timeouts, and 85 yards to go. It doesn't look like it's possible, but this is the National Football League.
That's right.
So you just don't know.
This is how you build a legacy right here. This is a 4th quarter comeback that is unlikely as any you've ever seen in this league. Down 21 points here in the 4th quarter.
It comes down to the game of football. It's a game of players. Players make plays, and players win games for you.
Crowd yelling defense. Manning takes the snap. Pressure coming, throws it upfield, and he's caught by Troy Walters. Squeezes it out across the 25 for the 1st down.
There's a flag. There's a flag thrown in the backfield. They're going to be roughing the passer, and 15 to it, Johnny Greer.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Defense.
Minute and 28. There's an eternity left.
Manning wasn't the #1 pick of the draft in '98 for nothing. And he's trying to engineer a come-from-behind victory here at Raymond James Stadium. A touchdown ties it.
Looks, throws it down for Marvin Harrison. He's got it to 20, 15, 10, 5-yard line.
You see the cornerback. He was kind of reading the play. He's not really guarding Marvin man-to-man, but he's kind of looking in, thinking, I'm going to throw underneath, and he just dips his shoulder in just for a little bit, which is all you need for Marvin to go by it. And so I just threw it, you know, as far as I could almost, and got down to the floor.
And the ball is 1st and goal at the 5-yard line with 1 minute and 14 seconds to go. Might have to spike it.
After a big play like that, sometimes the worst thing you can do to a defense is give them a chance to huddle up and kind of get settled. And Tom Moore was hollering to spike it into the ground, and I kind of, you know, sort of like a pitcher shaking off the catcher, and I kind of went, you know, let's don't spike it, because we're going to spike it. We give them a chance to huddle. They can get their breath. They can organize a blitz. The best thing we did right then was we ran 2 plays right in a row.
It's 1st down and goal from the 6. Here's the snap. Handoff on a cutback counter play to the 3 to the 1-yard line. Time still ticking. 53. They have no timeouts. It's 2nd down and goal. One running back. Ricky Williams hands the ball up. Touchdown Colts.
It's 35-34.
The Colts have come back from the dead. That pony was ready for the glue factory until the 4th quarter.
Playing on the road road against the Super Bowl champs, Indianapolis had staged a stunning rally.
Snap, the ball is down, the kick is up. We're tied 35-35 with 35.
Now, this epic struggle would be decided in overtime.
The fourth quarter has been a nightmare for the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense.
All right, I've got heads and tails. Who's going to call it? Call it because tails. Because tails. It is the heads. Tampa wants the ball.
With both teams fighting exhaustion, overtime offered the Bucs the first opportunity to win the game. But when the drive stalled, a Colts mistake gave Tampa Bay one more chance.
Fourth down and 2. Here's the snap. He got the punt away. Rolled into. Here comes a flag. The punt's going to bounce at the 10. It'll be new life for the Bucs, and Tom Tupa was rolled into.
The Bucs were unable to capitalize on their good fortune, giving the Colts a chance to rewrite history.
If you get down there and you get a chance to stick a mic in with Peyton Manning, I got to hear what he has to say about this one.
Right before we went out on the field, I kind of told the lineman and told the Tom Moore, and it kind of hit me too. We were kind of laughing. I said, hey guys, believe it or not, all we need is a field goal to win this game. And everybody it was kind of a little piece there, because before, I mean, at 35-14, you're like, we have to score. You have to score now. So like, yeah, all we need is a field goal. And it was kind of like, this shouldn't be as hard.
And the red-hot Colt offense is ready and willing and jumping up and down and dancing, and they can't wait to get back to work. Does the Buccaneer defense have enough gas left? The #1 defense in the National Football League.
By now, the Colts had all the momentum, and Tampa Bay could do nothing to stop them.
We had to make 3 big third down conversions in that drive.
Third down, 6. Colts have to reach the 23. Moving left, heading toward the pirate ship. 5 minutes into overtime.
Throws upfield, Marvin with a catch and a first down.
The next one, I think, was a 3rd and 11. We went to Reggie Wayne.
Third down, 11. Colts have to reach the 35.
Pressure, gotta have pressure.
Throws upfield, Reggie Wayne with a catch at the 40.
The drive began back at the 13, and the Colts are almost in field goal range now.
You know, Peyton was he was in a zone at this point, so even if it was 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, we didn't really care because we felt like we were going to convert them.
We'll bring up 3rd down and 6, but Manning has been uncanny on 3rd down.
We got one more to Troy Walters, and that really put us in range, and at that point, Mike hadn't missed a kick all year. We're pretty confident we're going to win the game.
You can hear the crowd get very quiet because they know the league's best, the most accurate kicker in the National Football League, the best ever, who has not missed a field goal this year, is trying to help Tony Dungy celebrate his birthday. And it comes down to a 40-yard field goal attempt by Mike Vanderjagt. Here's the kick. It's a floater. It's a floater. It's a floater. It's foul goal.
We got a flag, though.
There's a flag down. There is a flag down. Now, what is this?
When it went wide, I was in shock like everyone else. And then I saw the flag out there, and I could tell the way it was going that it wasn't on us.
The Colts are saying it's on the Bucs.
So all of a sudden you see the unsportsmanlike conduct, and I'm like, there it is, and you hear the word leaping. I still can hear Johnny Greer saying that.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 97, defense, leaping.
Leaping. You know, leaping. And I know the Bucs players are real frustrated about it, but the fact is, it is a rule.
On the play, Simeon Rice ran forward and jumped in an attempt to block the kick. But when he inadvertently landed on one of his own teammates, the official called an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for leaping. The call was just one of many improbable plot twists, but it was the one that would decide the game.
Because you're standing out there for what seemed like 10 minutes was Gruden, and everybody was complaining about the call, and, you know, the spotlight's on you still, so everybody's all fussing about the call, but in my mind, I'm still trying to figure out, you know, how I'm going to get this ball through the uprights.
No way you could be missed 2 in a row. I'd have bet my house on the first one. Let alone the second one. I was like, you know, am I going to be homeless forever?
They're going to line up, and Vanderjagt's got the kill shot from the 19-yard line. 29-yard field goal for the most accurate kicker in the league. To win it in overtime. The spot alone with the kick airborne. It is good, just inside the right upright. And the Colts have won in overtime. Tony Dungy gets a happy birthday gift. 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Wasn't exactly your perfect chip shot. Matter of fact, it was partially tipped, if you see on the replay. And it looks like the tip, believe it or not, whoever tips it kind of tips that thing right into the uprights. But it's kind of like throwing a wobbly touchdown pass. If it goes in, it's in.
God, Colts win! Colts win in overtime, 38-35 over the defending Super Bowl champions. An incredible comeback.
Based on the rules, we're fortunate to get a second chance, but I always will feel that we would have stopped them anyway. It was our game to win.
The Colts' stirring 38-35 victory ended at 1 o'clock in the morning and might have been the greatest game that nobody saw.
After the game, when you kind of take time to reflect and as you watch the film and you look at, you know, what if this wouldn't have happened right here? There's no way we would have won. You know, sometimes you feel like maybe the football gods were on your side.
You know, leaving the field, the fans, you know, they still ranting and raving and booing us. You know, all I kept saying is, we're gonna take that boat back to Indianapolis. So, and that's all I remember saying. We're gonna take that boat back to Indianapolis.
The greatest fourth quarter comeback in NFL history reflected each team's season. The Bucs failed to defend their championship, while the Colts went on to win their division title.
Obviously, a lot of the guys that had played for me, they were as disappointed as you would expect, but I think happy for me in the long run. Derek Brooks talked to me for a while on the field after the game. John Lynch waited for me in the tunnel way after, 1 o'clock in the morning. And, guys that had been around for a long time, it was special. I just had the feeling the Lord was going to make it a special night and a special type of game, and it was. It was one that nobody could have predicted. Just goes to show you can't predict how anything's going to go in the NFL.
Coming up, the last days of Foxborough Stadium.
Every so often, one game can change the course of an entire franchise. For the San Francisco 49ers, it was the 1981 title game. After Dwight Clark came down with the catch, the 49ers would rise to become one of the great dynasties in NFL history. For the New England Patriots, their run of 3 Super Bowl victories in 4 years was launched on a snowy night in 2002. The last game for Foxborough Stadium and the first of the Bill Belichick dynasty.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the winter wonderland that is Foxborough Stadium. Tonight, the Patriots against the Oakland Raiders in the AFC semifinals, and the snow is coming down in Foxborough and will come down throughout this evening.
It was kind of a surreal experience. The snow was falling, but it was soft snow, and it was fluffy, and it was pretty dry snow. It wasn't very cold out. It was one of those days that it was like it was made for TV.
It was like something out of a Nathaniel Hawthorne novel. You just felt like you were transformed into a storybook scene.
My dream was that we would host a home playoff game as the last game here.
Robert Kraft's dream seemed more like a nightmare as the white jerseys of the Raiders blended with the snow to bury the Patriots and build a 10-point lead.
Brown is with Jet wide left and Gannon throwing for the end zone, and it's caught! Touchdown, Raiders!
Normally you go onto the field at the end of the fourth quarter if you're a reporter, but you couldn't really see much from the press box because of the snowstorm. So I had gone down at the beginning of the fourth quarter thinking, all right, we're going to deal with the Raiders winning the game and the Patriots lose. And I turned to the camera crew that was from Boston, and one of the sound guys said to me, Patriots are going to win this game. And I'm like, you're nuts. That's not going to happen. His belief in the team was the same belief that everybody in the stands had, because I looked up into the stands. The snow was coming down like this, and every single person was still there.
During the Oakland game, I was sitting in my season tickets in section 120, row 10, which I've had for even before I stopped playing. It was interesting to sit and watch the snow accumulate on the people's heads in front of us to maybe 3 or 4 inches. The fans, after watching this team this year, felt like something special would happen that night, and they didn't leave.
Just go for it! You can do it! Move it!
Second and goal to go with the Raiders 6. The snap to Brady. Looks, stands, starts to run with it. He is down to the 5, and he's in! Touchdown! Tom Brady runs in for a touchdown with 7:52 to play in the football game. The Patriots are back in it.
David! That's some great comebacks! Keep it up, baby!
As the snow fell, the pressure rose. Tom Brady remained immune to both, though he was aided by a key call.
The direct snap to Brady. Standing in there. Looks to the left, loses the football.
Initially, when he hit me, I thought, well, it's, probably a fumble. Just from how you feel when he hits you. I saw the ball on the ground, and they jumped on it.
A fumble, and the Oakland Raiders recover.
My reaction was the game was over. It's ball game. I was already on the field with my chin strap buckled up and my head low.
When I looked up on the screen, I felt, wow, they're going to overrule this thing. Believe me, there was no question from our bench whether it was a fumble or not. It was an incomplete pass as far as we were concerned.
After reviewing the play, the quarterback's arm was going forward. It is
all right. Patriots retain the ball.
The ball not being tucked by Tom Brady, the fumble being overturned, the Patriots in the year of United We Stand given new life. This is happening for a reason. The Patriots are coming back and winning this game in this snowstorm because some higher power wants it to happen.
To keep their championship dreams alive, Adam Vinatieri would have to make arguably the greatest kick in football history.
There was a pile of snow there, and he pointed to the pile of snow, and he said to Ken Walters, "Oh, just put it there." There was no footing that was bad. He's into the wind. I talked to Walt Coleman, the referee, who was the referee that night, about this kick. He was standing right behind him and had difficulty seeing the goalpost.
Field goal attempt coming up. Snap, ball down. Kick up on the way.
People watching the kick at home didn't see it. I'm watching the kick in a hotel in Chicago, and I have no idea. Is it good? Is it not good?
And it is good. It is good. 45 yards.
That is part of the mythic value of that kick that none of us will ever forget.
The guy in front of us yelled out, "Ah, it's low." And Jose said no to him, "It's good." But what he said was no good. So that's what I heard. And I'm hanging my head and so disappointed. And I'm like, wait, why is everyone erupting with cheers? I'm like, I thought you said no good. He's like, no, good. I'm like, look, you said it again.
That impossible field goal, carrying God knows how, whether it was the Angels carrying it through those uprights, that defied logic and physics. How did that go through the uprights?
What that kick was, that was the anti-Buckner kick. Because as much as for a New England sports fan, as the ball through Buckner's legs is a negative, Adam Vinatieri's kick against the Raiders is a positive.
Adam Vinatieri kicks it through the snow, and we're tied at 13.
The final play in Foxborough would evoke memories of another game-winning kick in the snow. But this time, manual labor replaced the snowplow as this blue-collar team cleared a path to the AFC Championship.
Snap, ball down, kick is up. Patriots win in overtime, 16-13.
You knew something from the heavens was happening right after the winning field goal. The long snapper for the Patriots ran into the end zone and did snow angels, as if to send the signal back to God. Thank you very much for giving us this game. Something special was going on that last night at that stadium that had to do with what the country has gone through since September 11th. I remember all of that, and that it was real.
It was quite a way to send that stadium out. Pretty cool. I mean, what more do you want in a football game?
And even after the game ended, took me probably 25 or 30 minutes to get out of my section because nobody wanted to leave.
People just stayed and cheered, and just because we couldn't believe it. Because usually something bad happened to us and we ended up losing. And this time it happened, and we won. I mean, it was unbelievable.
If ever a stadium was to end with a group of people that represent the stadium, just about get-by type of people, just about a get-by stadium, yet they win it all. It's the most amazing story of them all.
Imagine going to a wake, an Irish one, because we're here in the Boston area. Everyone's standing around the coffin, drink in hand, toasting. That's the way Foxborough Stadium went out, and it was perfect.
Coming up, the fantastic finish America didn't see.
From the Oakland Coliseum, the House of Horrors, NBC aired one of the AFL's great rivalries. Daryl LaMonica's Raiders hosting Joe Namath's New York Jets. The game evolved into an epic seesaw battle best told by the legendary voice of John Facenda.
The lead changed back and forth 6 times before the score was finally tied at 29-all. Then the Jets' Jim Turner kicked a 26-yard field goal, and the Jets had the lead with 1 minute 5 seconds left.
At 7 p.m., NBC had scheduled a kids' movie named Heidi.
It was determined to air Heidi at 7 o'clock. And if football wasn't over, we would still go to Heidi at 7 o'clock.
NBC executives wishing to stay with the game failed in their frantic efforts to contact the broadcast center. Thousands of concerned viewers had flooded the phone lines and blown out the switchboard.
I thought, well, I have not been given any countermanding order, so I've got to do what we agreed to do.
While Charlie Smith gained 20 yards, the network televising the game made the classic blunder. NBC turned off the uncompleted game in favor of a kiddie special called Heidi.
The guy pushes the button at 7 o'clock, and away they went. And here's the game going right down the crapper.
And I breathed a big sigh of relief. I'm sure I was the only person in the country who did.
While NBC viewers, except those on the West Coast, were subjected to Heidi frolicking among mountain goats. The Raiders made goats of NBC.
LaMonica to Charlie Smith, and he scores! What a game!
On the subsequent kickoff, Jets teammates collided. The Raiders recovered the fumble for their second touchdown in 9 seconds and went on to win by 11 points.
And the Oakland Coliseum became an enormous secret love-in called the Heidi Bowl.
We knew that we won the game. The people in the stadium knew we won the game. But the people who were watching on television across the country thought that the Jets won and we lost.
So we ran a flashcast, a little crawl informing everybody of the final score.
It was where the little girl cousin who has been crippled is trying desperately to walk for the first time. I jumped up and screamed, "Oh, God!"
The screams in New York lingered long after the game ended.
I landed at the airport. My father said, "What's wrong?" He said, "You should be happy because you guys beat the Raiders." I said, "Dad, what are you talking about?" He said, "When they interrupted the game, you guys were up by 7, 8 points or whatever it was." I said, "Yeah, but we lost the game by 11. Oh, that girl is interrupting my life again.
I do recall about a week after the show went on the air that NBC took out a full-page ad with great quotes from the critics about Heidi. The very last quote was, "Well, I didn't get to see the show, but I hear it was real good." Signed, Joe Namath.
The '68 Jets-Raiders game was voted the greatest regular season contest of all time, not because of Don Maynard's 228 receiving yards, or even the Raiders' 9-second scoring explosion, but for a little girl who stole the show.
That was the greatest promotion that the AFL ever had, was the Heidi game.
I don't know, 10 years earlier, if you did the same thing on a telecast, would you get that kind of an uproar? I don't know, but you sure did at that point in time, and it sure lets you know that you better not take my football away from me at 7 o'clock.
Coming up, the miracle at the Meadowlands.
Most memorable plays have helped teams find their destiny. But how often have both the winning and losing sides benefited from a single play? With a 5-point lead and under 30 seconds to go, the Giants appeared to be in control of their own destiny against rival Philadelphia. What followed was one of the biggest blunders in American sports history.
Under 30 seconds left in the game. From here on in, Pizarczyk can just follow the football, and there is nothing the Eagles can do. And Pizarczyk fumbles the football. It's picked up by Herman Edwards. 15, 10, 5, touchdown Eagles! I don't believe it.
The miracle at the Meadowlands was divine intervention for Philadelphia, disaster for New York. But following the '78 season, the play marked a turning point for both teams.
When you have a play on a football field that goes awry like that one did, you knew that the offensive coordinator was going to get fired. The head coach was going to get fired.
Probably would have had a complete overhaul of the organization somewhere, but maybe not as quickly.
The hiring of general manager George Young and head coach Ray Perkins was the first step in New York's rebuilding plan.
And I'd like to introduce to you Ray Perkins. I knew that he was a foxhole guy, that there was nothing you could do that would discourage him. He was a driven person who, for that time, I thought was the best guy to pick.
Ray came in and, in George's own words, he made it uncomfortable to lose.
Ray Perkins restored a sense of discipline to the team that we really needed.
Perkins' successor, Bill Parcells, continued to teach the value of discipline and hard work. And during his time as head coach, led New York to 2 Super Bowl victories.
Eagles are winners, buddy!
The miracle at the Meadowlands also sparked a turnaround for Philadelphia, who 2 seasons later earned a trip to Super Bowl 15.
Eagles! I tell you where you're going. You're going to the Super Bowl. No, he's going to the Super Bowl's where he's going.
The thing that made it even more dramatic was the fact that that play really kind of jump-started our organization. We were able to propel ourselves in the playoffs the next 4 years.
For the first time, we actually won a game that we were supposed to lose. And before that, we were losing games that we should have had won. So I think that's the change. Now, the confidence is we'll go in a game, and no matter what happens, we can somehow pull it out.
Quarterback Joe Pisarcik was fortunate enough to view both sides of the Turnpike rivalry when he headed south to Philadelphia the following season.
The day I walked in the Eagles locker room, they were saying, thank you, Joe, for this, for that. Because of that, they ended up being in the playoffs. If the play didn't really happen, I wouldn't have been on the Super Bowl team with the Eagles. It is a cause and effect.
Perhaps no other play in NFL history was as instrumental in directing the fortunes of 2 young NFL franchises. Or, better sums up the old adage, it ain't over till it's over.
Napoleon thought he had the Battle of Waterloo won.
You got to make sure that you play for a complete 60-minute game.
Maybe the guys that fought Attila the Hun learned that.
And I feel it's made me stronger. And that's what life is all about, you know, getting up, dust yourself off, and keep on going.
You couldn't make this up. Here was this football team, and all was lost. And that's why, to this day, people refer to that play, the miracle of the Meadowlands. It's not over till it's over.
In an indirect way, you know, it was a good thing that happened. It was painful at the time, but it was good that it happened.
Pizarcik fumbles the football. It's picked up by Herman Edwards. 15, 10, 5, touchdown Eagles. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
When we return, more fantastic finishes.
Is a hope of all obscure players. You know, they come off of the bench in a tight situation and go to and have the great glory he had that afternoon. That was a tremendous performance. You just couldn't believe it. You know, when you lose your quarterback and you're up against Washington, who's a good football team, and you're behind to start with, and you hadn't had much success all day, you don't expect things to happen like that.
On Thanksgiving Day, 1974, Tom Landry and an obscure rookie quarterback witnessed what appeared to be a horrid chapter in Cowboy history. Trailing the Redskins 16-3, the Cowboys' only hope was Roger Staubach, a savior of lost causes. But neither saviors nor saints could deter a foe who knew the only sin was losing. When the Redskins knocked Captain Comeback unconscious in the third quarter, All that stood between them and victory was a baby-faced rookie quarterback named Clint Longley.
There'd been a lot of talk in that particular game. Darren Talbert actually came out and said they were going to knock Roger out. When the talk starts, Landry came out and said, well, they're talking. Said they're going to knock Roger out, and all we've got left is that rookie, you know, nameless rookie. And then he just kind of would turn his head and look at me like this, you know, like, well, and of course the whole team looked at you and I said, well, you know, it'll never happen. I was afraid they weren't going to sit me in, you know, I was all they had left there, and I was looking over there, I was afraid they were going to call 3 timeouts, you know, to try to have to keep putting me in, because one of the biggest nightmares of head coaching in the NFL is to send in, you know, their rookie. But I was confident, you know, I felt like at the time I was a gunfighter with a football, you know, if there was somebody open, I could hit them.
This gunslinger demonstrated a fast draw and a hair trigger release, even though he had not played a down in 1974. Nicknamed the Mad Bomber for hitting Tom Landry's tower with an errant pass in training camp, Longley sighted in on Billy Joe Dupree for his first touchdown.
No, I didn't know who Clint Longley was, but I knew that George Allen and his defenses always had a history of quarterbacks coming in off the bench would do better because they never had a good book on them.
If anything, getting a play out, one of the Dallas plays out, was a lot harder than reading secondaries for me.
He was the very best at looking off. He was a very, very clever, crafty quarterback. I mean, he'd look over here and the ball was going over there and it'd be right on the money.
While Longley was the gamble in this high-stakes game, Walt Garrison was money in the bank inside the 5-yard line. Garrison's touchdown gave the Cowboys a 17-16 lead, a lead that vanished when Dwayne Thomas, a ghost from the Cowboys' past, materialized in the end zone. In a game full of irony, the most ironic twist was provided by Roger Staubach.
I woke up with about 3 or 4 minutes to go. And I mean, I was on the bench. I remembered the last 3 or 4 minutes of the game. And I asked to go back in there, and of course, Clint was having a good game, and Landry looked at me like I was crazy.
28 seconds remained, and the fate of the Cowboys rested in the hands of a crazy rookie who hunted rattlesnakes for fun.
Well, I remember we didn't have any timeouts left. There was 28 seconds left. The ball was sitting right on the 50-yard line, and the play was sent in, it was called 16.
Longley's 50-yard touchdown proved more than just a prayer of a pass. It was the product of an adjustment made on the move by Drew Pearson.
He was like a magician back there, and it was like having a quarterback run through the secondary. And it was largely his idea, because it was definitely a deviation of the 16 play. What he wanted to do was make the safety think he was going underneath them, and then straighten up and kind of split between the two of them. They were playing inside out, and caught the ball about the 3 or 4 yard line and went in untouched.
Longley had no command of the complex Cowboy system. Ignoring keys and coverages, he simply did what he did best, throw the football.
Blaine Nye made the comment is that when Longley got in there, he just looked back and he just looked, well, is anybody open? And he just, threw it. And that was his statement, the triumph of the uncluttered mind.
The game was both the sunrise and sunset of Longley's career in Dallas. The next season, he was shipped off to the Chargers after fighting with Roger Staubach, thus becoming just a footnote in Cowboy history.
Thanks for watching NFL Films Presents on the NFL Network.